Gentlemen, I will never ever dispute the fact that life is hard. Life is very difficult. I will never ever disagree with that statement. You've heard me say on multiple occasions that life is fair because life is unfair for everyone else. At some point, we're all going to be dealt with bad cards. At some point, whether that's personal family members passing away or having terminal illnesses, and we have to deal with that mentally. It could be physical, it could be disabilities, it could be redundancies, job losses, financial. So I will never ever dispute the fact that life can be very difficult at times, very arduous, and just very difficult in general. So I understand why average men and most men simply just numb themselves every single night, whether it be after work, after their 9 to 5, after studying all day or school, university. I understand. And to an extent, I empathize. And that's why I'm going to share my story in this video that may resonate with a lot of you guys, and just really delving deeper as to why we do it and to rectify the issue in the situation. Now, delving into my story about numbing myself every night, what I used to do was when I had a 9 to 5, I used to work in sales and account management for that matter. I would come home every single day and I would do nothing productive with my time. My sort of numbing myself time was immediately when I walked through the door, which was 7 p.m. I would eat something that wasn't very nutritious, wasn't healthy. Most of the time it was ready-made. It would be like meal deals from the local supermarket, or even if it was stuff from the fridge, most of it was ready-made, or it was simply basic stuff that's full of carbs, full of processed stuff, things like pasta, rice, etc. Which isn't good for you. Not much of it had protein, especially as a guy that was very, very slim, looking to bulk up. Nothing was conducive, nothing was advantageous. Waste my money. I'd buy chocolate bars, crisps, just stuff my face. But I never gained weight because of my high metabolism and my young age at the time. So it never really affected my exterior. And so I thought, okay, this is fine. I'm sort of invincible, especially as a young man. When you eat like crap and you're not putting on weight and you look slim, people assume you just eat healthy. It doesn't mean you're fit at all. It doesn't mean you're physically in good shape. It wasn't until I spoke to one of my friend's girlfriends who told me that I was destroying my insides. And that's when I stopped eating chocolate every day. And that's a story time for another day. And that's when I really turned my life around. But there was a period of time where I'd come home at 7 p.m. and just numb myself. The minute I had food, just sit on my phone, scroll through TikTok, scroll through YouTube shorts, and just watching garbage. TikTok brain, TikTok rot, absolute utter nonsense, just garbage on different stuff like silly topics, sports. It was stuff that it was all entertainment that had nothing in terms of ROI, whether that's return on investment. You're learning absolutely nothing new. And look, I get it. I get why I used to do that, because, and we're going to delve into this later in the video as to why we did it, and that's why I know this resonates with a lot of you, and we need to delve into the deeper and the specifics as to why. But I digress for now. TikTok brain, scrolling through, and then to top it off, the cherry on top, and that was just pornography. Pornography just to kill it on top, right? Pornhub.com. And just masturbating to nonsense, absolute nonsense, just to top it off, just to really, really make the situation dire, just to make it 10 times worse. And by the end of the night, after 2, 3, 4 hours had passed, I would just lay there in bed as I'm shutting my eyes thinking, what a waste of an evening. I did nothing productive whatsoever. I've worked all day, I've come back, didn't go to the gym, didn't exercise, didn't eat clean whatsoever, jerked off to pornography, didn't read a book, didn't do anything productive, nothing positive for my future self whatsoever. And then you have that, I know that you guys have had this, because it has to be a human thing, because I used to have this feeling of regret starts to kick in as you shut your eyes thinking, what a waste of time that I'm never going to get back. And you promise yourself the following day that things are going to be different. And then the following cycle repeats. The 9 to 5, you get up in the morning late, you're running to the train station, you haven't even eaten breakfast, barely showered, and you run to the train station. You've completed your 9 to 5 that you find relatively comfortable. You come home, cycle starts again. You can't be asked to do anything productive. You don't want to get out to the gym because it's too cold and dark. So what happens? You start eating crap again, turn Netflix on, start scrolling through social media, same nonsense again and again and again, just frying your brain left, right and center, doing nothing positive for your future, numbing yourself. Now, I sort of saw myself as a sanctimonious individual for some reason back in the day, because yeah, I would eat junk food here and there and I masturbated to pornography, fine. But the reason why I saw myself as this morally superior individual was because I've never smoked in my life, I've never vaped, I've never taken substances, I've never done drugs. So because of that, I almost saw myself as like a morally superior person to everyone else, which is absolutely nonsense. It's preposterous. And I don't see myself that way anymore. And it's just a learning curve, because cool, you're not doing any of those things, but the habits that I was indulging in isn't that much better anyway. So, and even if you're doing anything positive, you shouldn't treat people lower than you. So a lot of learning experiences. And I know this resonates with a lot of you, because most men numb themselves at 7 p.m. at night, 8 p.m. at night, every single night. And honestly, it's a sad indictment. And this is where we have to get into the next stage here. We need to find out why men numb themselves. We need to actually get to the root cause here, because it's all well and good addressing the symptom, which is pornography, which is, in some people's cases, smoking weed, watching Netflix, playing video games. These addictions, these are all symptoms, but they're not the root causes. So what we need to do is we need to delve into the root cause, because treating a symptom is not the long-term solution. It might nullify, alleviate pain in the short term, but it's never a long-term solution. So we have to delve into the root cause. What is the root cause? The root cause is why. Why are you doing what you're doing? And there's only two answers for this. The first one is you haven't discovered your calling or purpose, which I've made statements on countless times. And, you know, if you're a young man, the likelihood is you haven't discovered your purpose, and that isn't necessarily your fault, but that's what is in your control. Within your control is you try new ideas, you try new things. That project that you always wanted to start, go for it. Go for it, because what is the worst that's going to happen? That YouTube channel that you wanted to start in that specific sort of niche and market, go for it. What's the worst that's going to happen? You know, you wanted to start that project, you wanted to study for a specific career, but it's kind of bougie and most people haven't done it and it's a bit unknown. Go for it. What's going to happen? You wait 6 months, you're a young guy, who cares? Who cares? At least you tried it. That is the thing, because when you try something and it doesn't work out, you never have any feelings of regret. The regret comes in when you couldn't be asked and you go down the line, you think, but what if I tried? So that is the way that you discover your purpose. And for a lot of you guys, you haven't discovered or ascertained your purpose. You don't understand what your calling is, and hence why it leads you to numbing yourself after work or after university every single night. And now the second reason is simply because you have a genuine disdain for the individual that you are. You have a genuine disdain for your lifestyle, the way that you're living your life. And that numbing yourself is a route of escapism. It's for you to escape from the pain that you're feeling. You despise your job. You don't like your 9 to 5. You don't like the way that your life is going. So that quick dopamine pleasure that you derive from supernormal stimuli, whether that's pornography, video games, junk foods, it gives you that 2-3 hours a night of satisfaction that puts you at ease, that puts you more in comfort. And actually, it's counterintuitive, because it actually sets you back further and you dig yourself a deeper hole, because the longer you go down that path, and luckily I got out of that path quickly, but the longer you go down, I notice your self-esteem takes a hit, your confidence takes a hit, you don't like the person that you're becoming. And actually, as time progresses, the more you do it, the harder it is to get out of that situation, of that predicament. So I urge you, don't numb your time. Don't waste your time numbing yourself, because the longer you wait, the harder it's going to be to get out of that rut. Identify your purpose as soon as possible. Try new things. You have to break the habit. That's what James Clear speaks about in the book Atomic Habits, which I've referenced a few times on this channel. It's about cultivating the right environment that's conducive for your long-term needs. So it's about breaking the patterns of behavior, breaking those cues. The cue here is you go to your 9 to 5, you come back at 7, 8 p.m. That's when you numb yourself. Well, how about stay at work for a couple more hours? So you break the cue, you break the habit. There's no cues anymore. Or after work, you go to the library, or you take your gym bag to work with you. So before you even head home after work, you go straight to the gym and then come back. And now you're back at 8:30, 9 cooking foods. And because you've been productive at the gym, you start to feel better about yourself. You now want to eat clean food that's aligned with your routine at the gym. So it's about breaking those cues, breaking those habits. That's what you have to focus on. And as I said, as time progresses, you're going to start to find out what you enjoy, what you dislike, and you're going to start to identify your purpose. But that is the way, that the longer you numb yourself every single evening, whether that's 7, 8 or 9 p.m, I promise you guys, you will go down a very lonely road. And you will start to hate yourself. And it's going to be very hard because you fall into depression. You start to feel like that people are judging you, that people don't care about you. It's a very, very dangerous place to be mentally. Trust me, guys, I've been there. I've been there. You feel so dark, in solitary confinement, in solitude. Solitude isn't always a bad thing. But this type of solitude is not positive for you because you feel like you're in your own world. No one's watching you. You can do whatever you want, but that's not always a good thing. There's no control. You have zero control over your brain. You have zero control over your life. It's almost as if you're operating on autopilot. And you have no dictation, no control over where your life is headed. That is a very, very dangerous place to be. And that is what is essentially happening when you're numbing yourself and you're escaping from your current reality because you don't like the person that you are. You don't like the stuff that you're doing. If you don't like your job, try and identify what career it is that you wanna do. And look, the reason why a lot of men do it as well is because it's a sense of comfort. It's paying the bills. They've got a woman that they love. They may have kids. They may have kids on the way. They're able to go on holidays a couple times a year. I'm not knocking it. I understand. You don't want to leave the comfort zone, but especially if you're a young man and you despise the career that you're in. To me, it makes no sense. To me, it makes no sense living the current way that you are, because you will look back in 5 years with so much regret and anger and despair and misery because you would have understood and comprehended the fact that you just wasted 5 years. You've wasted 5 years that you're never ever going to get back. Your calling is one of the most important things. Your calling alongside the woman that you choose to marry to have kids with, because she's going to ultimately be the mother of your children. But as well as that, your calling is imperative. Your calling is imperative. And especially if you're a young man, you have time to turn this around. And when I say young, that's very subjective, of course. This also includes men that are 30 to 35. It's never too late for anyone. It's never too late. As long as you're healthy and, you have opportunity, you have faith, you have belief, and you're positive, and it doesn't matter where you are. I keep saying this. It never, ever matters where you are. What matters is the direction that you're headed in. But numbing yourself every day like most men, like the average man, it's only going to leave you down the path of misery and despair. And trust me, guys, you do not want to be there. So if you did enjoy the video and you got value out of it, consider subscribing and hitting the bell notification. Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. Perhaps this resonates deeply with you. It's quite profound. If so, leave me your thoughts. Let's have a discussion. Let's engage. If not, once again, leave me your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. And I'll see all of you guys for my next video. Peace.